The betrayal and the fall. The perfect Luna's perfect life. Arya stood in the grand hall of the Silver Crest pack house, watching the morning sunlight stream through the tall windows. She smiled as she arranged fresh wildflowers in crystal vases, making sure everything looked beautiful for the pack breakfast. At 24 years old, she had been Luna of the Silver Crest pack for 3 years, and she loved every moment of it. "Good morning, Luna Arya," called out Mrs. Chan, the elderly pack member who ran the kitchen. "You're up early again." "Good morning, Mrs. Chen," Arya replied warmly. "I wanted to make sure everything was perfect for today's breakfast. Alpha Derek has been working so hard lately. He deserves a beautiful morning." Mrs. Chen smiled, but something sad flickered in her eyes. Arya noticed but said nothing. She had learned that pack members sometimes worried too much about their leaders. Arya's life seemed perfect from the outside. She was married to Alpha Derek, the strong and handsome leader of one of the most powerful packs in the Northern Territory. She had healing abilities that made her valuable to the pack. Everyone seemed to respect her. Everyone seemed to love her. But lately something felt wrong. Derek had been distant, cold. He came home late, smelling of perfume that wasn't hers. When she asked about it, he would snap at her or ignore her completely. "I'm just being paranoid," Arya whispered to herself as she finished the flowers. "Derek loves me. We're fated mates. The moon goddess brought us together. The day everything shattered." That afternoon, Arya finished her healing clinic early. She had treated 12 pack members, mending broken bones and curing infections with her gift. Her head hurt from using so much energy, and she wanted nothing more than to rest in her bedroom. She walked through the pack house, greeting pack members as she passed. They smiled at her, but again, she noticed something strange. Some looked away quickly. Others seemed nervous. Young Maya, who usually ran up to hug her, hid behind her mother. "What's wrong with everyone today?" Arya wondered. She climbed the stairs to the alpha floor, where she and Derek had their private rooms. The hallway was quiet, too quiet. As she approached their bedroom door, she heard something that made her freeze. Laughter. A woman's laughter, coming from her bedroom. Her hand trembled as she reached for the door handle. "Maybe it's just a pack member talking to Derek about something," she told herself. "Maybe I'm imagining things." She opened the door. The world stopped. There, in her bed, tangled in her sheets, was her husband Derek. And wrapped in his arms, kissing his neck, was her younger sister, Elena. "Derek." Arya's voice came out as a broken whisper. Derek and Elena jumped apart. But Derek didn't look guilty. He didn't look ashamed. He looked annoyed, like Arya had interrupted something important. "Arya," he said coldly, "you're home early. What is this?" Arya stumbled backward, her heart breaking into 1,000 pieces.
"Elena?"
"How could you?" Elena sat up, pulling the sheet around herself. But instead of looking sorry, she smiled. It was a cruel, victorious smile that Arya had never seen on her sister's face before. "Oh, sister," Elena said sweetly. "The moon goddess made a mistake," Derek interrupted harshly. "I never wanted you, Arya. You're weak, soft, always crying about feelings and caring for pack members like their children. Elena is strong. She's the Luna this pack needs. The public rejection. I, Alpha Derek of the Silver Crest pack, reject you, Arya, as my mate and Luna." The words hit Arya like physical blows. She fell to her knees, clutching her chest as the mate bond began to tear apart inside her. The pain was unbearable, like someone was ripping her heart out while it was still beating. "No," she gasped. "Please no." "Say it," Derek commanded. "Accept the rejection." Arya looked up at him through her tears. The man she had loved for 5 years, the man she had given everything to, was looking at her like she was nothing, like she was trash. "Why?" she whispered. "Because I love Elena," Derek said simply. "I've loved her since the day she joined our pack 2 years ago. You were just in the way. 2 years. They had been betraying her for 2 years. "Say it, Arya," Elena urged, her voice falsely sympathetic. Accept the rejection. Let him go. You're embarrassing yourself. With shaking lips, Arya whispered, I accept. The mate bond snapped. The pain was so intense that Arya screamed, her healing powers flaring out uncontrollably. Windows shattered. The bed frame cracked. And then everything went black. The false accusations. When Arya woke up, she was in the pack dungeons. The cold, damp cell smelled of mold and blood. Her wrists were bound with silver chains that burned her skin, preventing her from using her healing powers. She's awake, someone called out. Heavy footsteps approached. Alpha Derek appeared outside her cell, with Elena standing beside him. Behind them, Arya could see pack members gathered, watching. Arya, Derek announced loudly, you are accused of plotting against the Silver Crest Pack. You have been using your position as Luna to steal pack funds. You have been meeting with enemy packs, sharing our secrets. And last night, you attacked your Luna-to-be, Elena, in a jealous rage. What? Arya struggled to sit up. That's not true. None of that is true. We have proof, Elena said, holding up papers. Bank statements showing money transferred to your personal accounts. Letters to the Blood Moon Pack offering them our territory maps. And witnesses who saw you attack me. Those are lies. Arya shouted. I never did any of that. Derek, you know me? I would never betray the pack. But as she looked at the faces of the pack members, she saw that many believed the lies. Elena had been preparing this for a long time. The punishment for treason, Derek said coldly, is death. But because you were once my mate, I will be merciful. You will be beaten, stripped of your title and abilities, and exiled from pack lands. If you ever return, you will be killed on sight. The punishment and exile. They beat her in the pack square. Pack members she had healed, children she had cared for, people she had considered friends. They all watched as Derek's enforcers used silver whips on her back. Each strike burned like fire. Each blow broke something inside her beyond just her body. Elena watched with a smile. Derek watched with cold indifference. When they were done, Arya could barely breathe. Her back was shredded. Her healing powers, suppressed by the silver still in her system, couldn't help her. Take her to the border, Derek ordered. Throw her into the wasteland. Let the rogues deal with her. As they dragged her away, Arya heard Elena's voice call out sweetly, Goodbye, sister. Thank you for everything. I'll take good care of your pack. They dumped Arya at the edge of the wasteland, a dangerous no-man's land between territories where rogue wolves and outcasts lived. It was a place where pack wolves didn't survive. Please, Arya begged the enforcers. Please just tell me why. Why did Elena hate me so much? One of the enforcers, Marcus, who she had once healed after a hunting accident, looked down at her. For a moment, pity crossed his face. Your sister was always jealous of you, Luna, he said quietly. From the day your parents adopted her after her family was killed, she resented you. You had everything she wanted, family, power, love. She spent years planning this. But I loved her, Arya whispered. I would have given her anything. That's why you lost, Marcus said sadly. Then he and the others left her there, bleeding in the dirt. Survival in the wasteland. For 3 days, Arya crawled through the wasteland. She had no food, no water, no shelter. Her wounds became infected. Fever set in. Several times, she considered just lying down and letting death take her. Why fight? She asked the empty air. I have nothing left. No pack, no family, no mate. Maybe I should just die. But something inside her refused to give up. Maybe it was stubbornness. Maybe it was anger. Or maybe it was the small voice in her head that kept saying, they don't deserve to win. On the 4th day, as the sun set and painted the sky blood red, Arya finally collapsed. She had reached a river, but she was too weak to drink from it. Her vision blurred. Her heartbeat slowed. I'm sorry, moon goddess, she whispered. I tried. As darkness took her, she heard footsteps approaching. Heavy, confident footsteps. and a voice, deep and rough, filled with authority. "Well, what do we have here?" "The Rogue King." Arya opened her eyes to find a man standing over her. Even in her dying state, she could tell he was the most powerful wolf she had ever encountered. He was tall, with midnight black hair and eyes that glowed amber in the fading light. Scars crossed his muscular arms and chest. He looked wild, dangerous, and completely in control. "Please," Arya managed to whisper. "Help me." The man crouched down, studying her with those intense amber eyes. He sniffed the air, and his expression changed from curiosity to surprise. "You're a Luna," he said. "Or you were. I can smell the broken mate bond on you. And those wounds, silver whips. Your own pack did this to you." "Please," Arya repeated. "I don't want to die. Not yet." The man was silent for a long moment. Then he stood and called out, "Raven! Marcus! Get over here!" Two other wolves appeared from the trees. They looked shocked to see Arya. "Boss, is that—" "A former Luna, yes," the man interrupted. "Nearly dead. Betrayed by her pack, if I'm reading the signs right." He looked down at Arya again. "I'm going to ask you one question, little Luna. Answer honestly, because I can smell lies. Do you want revenge on those who hurt you?" Arya thought about Derek's cold eyes, Elena's cruel smile, the pack members who watched her suffer. "Yes," she whispered. "I want them to pay." The man smiled, but it wasn't a kind smile. It was the smile of a predator who had just found interesting prey. "Then you're in luck," he said. "I'm Cade, the Rogue King, and I specialize in helping those who've been thrown away by their packs. But my help comes with a price. If I save your life, you belong to me. You'll train with my wolves. You'll become strong. And when the time comes, you'll help me with my mission." "What mission?" Arya asked weakly. "Taking down corrupt alphas," Cade said simply. "Starting with yours. So what do you say, little Luna? Do we have a deal?" Arya looked into his amber eyes. She saw danger there. She saw darkness. But she also saw something else, truth. This man, this Rogue King, was offering her something Derek never had. Honest choice. "Yes," Arya said. "We have a deal." Cade nodded. "Then welcome to your new life." He scooped her up easily, careful of her wounds. "Raven, prepare the healing room. Marcus, send word to the territory. We have a new pack member." As Cade carried her away from the river, away from her old life, Arya felt the first spark of something she hadn't felt in months. Hope. But she also felt something else stirring inside her. Something that had been sleeping. As Cade's scent wrapped around her, wild pine and smoke and power, her wolf, silent since the rejection, suddenly lifted its head. "Mate!" her wolf whispered. Arya's eyes widened in shock. But before she could say anything, darkness claimed her, and she knew nothing more. The broken Luna had found the Rogue King, and nothing would ever be the same. What will happen when Arya discovers Cade is her second chance mate? How will she transform from broken Luna to powerful warrior? And what revenge awaits Derek and Elena? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to continue this journey. Comment below what you think Arya should do first when she gets her revenge. Word count, 2,347 words, 216:33 Part 2. The Transformation and Rising Power. Awakening in a New World. Arya woke to the sound of a crackling fire and the smell of healing herbs. For a moment, she thought she was back in her clinic at Silvercrest, preparing medicines for sick pack members. Then the memories came flooding back. Derek's betrayal, Elena's cruelty, the beating, the wasteland. Her eyes flew open. She was lying in a comfortable bed in a small wooden cabin. Soft furs covered her body, and bandages wrapped her torso. The pain in her back was gone, replaced by a dull ache. Someone had healed her. "You're awake," a gentle voice said. Arya turned her head to see a woman sitting beside her bed. She was beautiful, with long silver hair and kind violet eyes. She looked to be in her 50s, but there was an ageless quality about her. "Who are you?" Arya asked, her voice hoarse. My name is Raven, the woman replied, offering Arya a cup of water. I'm the healer here in the Rogue King's territory. You've been unconscious for 5 days. 5 days. Arya struggled to sit up, but Raven gently pushed her back down. Easy, child. Your wounds were severe. The silver poisoning nearly killed you. If Cade hadn't found you when he did, you would have died within hours. Cade, the Rogue King, the man who had offered her revenge. Where is he? Arya asked. Dealing with territory matters, Raven said. But he left strict orders that you're to rest until you're fully healed. Drink this. It will help restore your strength. As Arya drank the bitter tea, she looked around the cabin. It was simple but clean, with books lining one wall and dried herbs hanging from the ceiling. Through the window, she could see other cabins and wolves moving about their daily tasks. What is this place? She asked. Raven smiled. This is the sanctuary. Cade's territory. We're all rogues here, wolves who were rejected, exiled, or escaped from cruel packs. Cade takes us in, protects us, and gives us a new home. Why? Arya couldn't understand why anyone would take on such a burden. Raven's expression grew sad. Because Cade knows what it's like to be betrayed, to be thrown away. He swore that no wolf would suffer alone if he could help it. Before Arya could ask more questions, the cabin door opened. Cade walked in, and Arya's breath caught in her throat. In the wasteland, dying and delirious, she hadn't truly seen him. Now, in the firelight, she could. He was massive, easily 6.5 feet tall, with broad shoulders and a warrior's build. His black hair was tied back, revealing a strong, scarred face. But it was his eyes that captured her. Those amber eyes that seemed to see through every wall she'd ever built. You're awake, he said, his deep voice sending shivers down her spine. Good. We have much to discuss. The Rogue King's story. Cade pulled up a chair and sat beside Arya's bed. Raven excused herself, leaving them alone. The silence stretched between them, heavy with unspoken questions. Why did you save me? Arya finally asked. Cade leaned back, studying her with those intense eyes. I told you in the wasteland. I help wolves who've been betrayed by their packs. But also... He paused, and something vulnerable flickered across his face. I smelled your pain, your rage. It called to something in me. I don't understand. 10 years ago, Cade began, his voice hardening, I was Beta of the Mountain Ridge Pack, the Alpha's right hand, his most trusted warrior. I had a mate, beautiful, kind, perfect. Her name was Sarah. I loved her more than my own life. Arya saw the pain in his eyes and knew the story wouldn't end well. The Alpha grew jealous of my power, my popularity with the pack. So he seduced Sarah, turned her against me. Together, they accused me of planning a coup. The pack believed them because the Alpha was their leader, and I was just the Beta. What happened? Arya whispered. They tried to execute me, Cade said flatly. Sarah herself delivered the killing blow, or so she thought. She stabbed me with a silver blade and left me to die in the forest. But I survived. I crawled for days until I reached neutral territory. And there, I made a vow. I would never let another corrupt Alpha destroy innocent lives. I would build a place where the rejected could become strong. Is Sarah? Arya couldn't finish the question. Dead? Cade confirmed. She and the Alpha were killed 3 years ago by a rival pack. I felt the mate bond break even though I never accepted the rejection. The moon goddess has a sense of justice after all. Arya felt tears prick her eyes. His story was so similar to hers, betrayal by a mate, accusations near death. I'm sorry, she said softly. Don't be sorry, Cade said, leaning forward. Be angry. Use that anger. That's why I saved you, Arya. I saw a wolf who could either die broken or rise up stronger. Which will you choose? Arya thought about Derek and Elena, probably laughing about her death right now. She thought about the pack members who had watched her suffer and done nothing. She thought about the life that had been stolen from her. I choose to rise, she said firmly. Cade smiled, and for the first time it was genuine. Good. Then your training begins tomorrow. The training begins. The next morning, Arya discovered that life in the sanctuary was nothing like life in Silver Crest. Here everyone worked, everyone trained. There were no servants, no hierarchy based on birth. Respect was earned through strength and loyalty. Cade was a brutal trainer. Again! He shouted as Arya hit the ground for the 10th time. You're too slow, too weak. If an enemy attacked right now, you'd be dead in seconds. Arya pushed herself up, her muscles screaming in protest. She had been training for 2 weeks, and every day was harder than the last. Cade showed no mercy, no gentleness. He treated her like any other warrior. I'm trying, she gasped, wiping blood from her split lip. Trying isn't good enough. Cade circled her like a predator. Your old pack beat you because you let them. They betrayed you because you were soft. If you want revenge, if you want to survive, you need to become something they fear. Something inside Arya snapped. All the pain, all the humiliation, all the rage she'd been holding back erupted. She lunged at Cade with a scream, her wolf surging forward. Cade caught her easily, but there was approval in his eyes. There it is, he said quietly. There's the fire. Now control it. Use it. The training continued. Cade taught her to fight, really fight, not the gentle defensive moves she'd learned as a healer. He taught her to use her claws as weapons, her speed as an advantage, her smaller size to slip past larger opponents. You were a healer, he said during one session. That means you know anatomy. You know where every weak point is. Use that knowledge. A healer can become the most dangerous fighter because they know exactly where to strike to cause maximum damage. But it wasn't just physical training. Cade also trained her mind. Rogues survive by being smarter than pack wolves, he explained. Packs rely on numbers and hierarchy. But rogues, we think, we plan, we adapt. Your old alpha is predictable. He follows pack law, pack traditions. That's his weakness. Arya absorbed everything like a sponge. Every lesson, every technique, every strategy. She trained until her body couldn't move, then pushed herself further. She sparred with other rogues, wolves who had their own stories of betrayal and survival. There was Marcus, a former alpha who had been overthrown by his own son. There was Lily, a young she-wolf who had escaped a forced mating. There was old Tom, a warrior who had deserted his pack rather than follow in order to kill innocent humans. Each of them taught Arya something. Marcus taught her pack politics. Lily taught her stealth and disguise. Old Tom taught her patience and observation. And through it all, Cade watched, pushed, demanded more. The hidden power awakens. 3 months into her training, something strange began happening. Arya started having dreams, vivid, powerful dreams of ancient wolves running under a blood-red moon. In these dreams, she felt power coursing through her veins, power far beyond anything she'd known as a healer. She woke one night to find her hands glowing with silver light. Not the soft golden glow of her healing powers, but something different, something older. Raven! She called out in panic. The healer came running. When she saw Arya's glowing hands, her eyes widened. By the moon goddess, she whispered. You're a moonborn. A what? Raven sat on the bed, her expression odd. Moonborn wolves are rare, perhaps 1 in 10,000. They have ancient blood, direct descendants of the first wolves blessed by the moon goddess herself. They have powers beyond normal wolves. Enhanced healing, the ability to strengthen other wolves, sometimes even visions of the future. But I'm just a healer, Arya protested. No, Raven said gently. You were always more, but your powers were suppressed, probably by your own fear and self-doubt. Now, with your training, with your anger and determination, they're waking up. Cade was called. When he heard the news, he didn't seem surprised. I suspected, he admitted. Your healing was always too strong, too pure. And when I found you in the wasteland, there was something about your scent, like moonlight itself. What does this mean? Arya asked, looking at her still glowing hands. It means, Cade said with a fierce smile, that you're far more powerful than Derek ever imagined. It means your sister stole the position of Luna from a wolf who was born to lead. And it means that when we return to Silver Crest, they won't just fear you, they'll bow to you. Over the next 2 months, Raven helped Arya explore her powers. She learned to heal wounds with just a touch, to sense emotions and lies, to project her presence and make other wolves submit. She learned to draw on the moon's power, becoming stronger during the full moon. But the most shocking discovery came during a training session with Cade. They were sparring, and Arya was holding her own for the first time. Cade came at her with a powerful strike, and instinctively, Arya raised her hand. Silver light flashed, and Cade was thrown backward, hitting the ground hard. Everyone in the training yard froze. Cade stood up slowly, staring at Arya. "You just used Alpha Command," he said quietly. "On me, a rogue king." "I'm sorry, I didn't mean." "Don't apologize," Cade interrupted. "Do you understand what this means? Moonborn wolves with Alpha Command are destined to lead entire regions, not just packs. You, Arya, could be a queen." The growing bond. As Arya grew stronger, something else was growing too. The bond between her and Cade. At first, Arya had ignored the pull she felt toward him, dismissing it as gratitude or admiration. But it was becoming impossible to deny. Every time Cade touched her during training, sparks raced across her skin. Every time their eyes met, the world seemed to fade away. And her wolf, healed and stronger now, constantly whispered the same word, mate. One evening, after a particularly intense training session, Cade walked Arya back to her cabin. The moon was full, casting silver light across the sanctuary. "You've come far," Cade said, his voice soft. "The broken Luna I found in the wasteland is gone. In her place is a warrior, a leader." "I had a good teacher," Arya replied, looking up at him. Cade stopped walking. He turned to face her, and the intensity in his amber eyes made her breath catch. "Arya," he said quietly, "I need to tell you something. From the moment I found you, I knew. My wolf knew. You're your mate," Arya finished. "I know. I felt it too. But you're not ready," Cade said, pain in his voice. "You're still healing from Derek's betrayal. You need time to become yourself before." Arya stepped closer to him. "What if I don't want to wait?" she whispered. The air between them crackled with tension. Cade's hand came up to cup her face, his thumb gently tracing her cheekbone. "If we do this," he said, his voice rough with emotion, "it's forever. I'm not Derek. I don't share. I don't lie. If you're mine completely." "And if you're mine," Arya replied, her hand covering his, "you're mine completely. No more punishing yourself for the past. No more carrying guilt for what Sarah did. We heal each other, or we don't do this at all." Cade stared at her for a long moment. Then, slowly, he lowered his head and kissed her. It was nothing like kissing Derek had been. Derek's kisses had been possessive, demanding. Cade's kiss was passionate but tender, powerful but gentle. It was the kiss of a true mate, a true partner. When they finally pulled apart, both were breathless. "I, Cade, Rogue King, accept you, Arya, as my mate," Cade said formally. "I, Arya, accept you, Cade, as my mate," Arya replied. The mate bond snapped into place, and it was beautiful. A golden thread that connected their souls, stronger and purer than anything Arya had felt with Derek. But before they could celebrate, a howl split the night. It was Marcus calling an emergency. Cade and Arya ran to the main hall where the pack had gathered. Marcus stood in the center, holding a bloodied wolf, a messenger. "Boss," Marcus said grimly, "we have news from Silver Crest Pack." News from Silver Crest. The messenger, a young male named Jake who had once been part of Silver Crest, spoke through painful gasps. "It's bad, my king. Alpha Derek and Luna Elena. They're destroying the pack." "Tell us everything," Cade commanded. Jake explained that in the 6 months since Arya's exile, things had fallen apart. Derek had increased taxes on pack members, taking more resources for himself. Elena had become cruel, punishing anyone who questioned her. Wolves who had been loyal to Arya were being imprisoned or exiled on false charges. "The pack is suffering," Jake said. "Pups are going hungry. The elderly are being neglected. And Derek is planning something big, an alliance with the Blood Moon Pack." Arya's blood ran cold. The Blood Moon Pack was notorious for its violence and cruelty. Why would he ally with them? "For power," Jake said. "Alpha Damien of Blood Moon wants access to Silvercrest's territory for expansion. In exchange, he's offering Derek military support to expand his own borders. They're planning to attack smaller packs, enslave their members." Cade's expression darkened. "When?" "During the Alpha Summit 3 months from now. Derek is hosting it. He wants to show off his new alliance, his new Luna. He wants to prove he's stronger than ever." Arya felt rage building in her chest. "He's going to destroy innocent packs for his greed. We have to stop him," Cade said. Then he looked at Arya. "But this is your choice. Silvercrest was your pack. Derek was your mate. If you want revenge, now is the time. But if it's too much, if you're not ready—" "I'm ready," Arya interrupted. Her voice was strong, clear. "Not for revenge, for justice. Those pack members didn't betray me. They were lied to, manipulated. And the smaller packs Derek plans to attack? They're innocent. I won't let Derek and Elena destroy more lives." Cade nodded, pride shining in his eyes. "Then we go to war." The plan. Over the next weeks, the sanctuary became a war camp. Cade called in favors from other rogue groups and sympathetic alphas. Arya used her moonborn powers to strengthen their warriors, healing old injuries and enhancing their abilities. They gathered intelligence. Marcus had contacts in Silvercrest, wolves who were still loyal to Arya, who remembered her kindness. These wolves secretly sent information about Derek's plans, the pack house layout, guard rotations. "Derek has become paranoid," Marcus reported. "He trusts no one except Elena. He's made enemies of his own council members. Half the pack would rebel if they had a leader to follow." "They'll have one," Arya said firmly. "Me." Raven helped Arya prepare in other ways. "At the summit, all eyes will be on you," the healer said. "You need to look like a queen, not a rogue. Let me help." The night before they left for Silvercrest, Arya stood before a mirror and barely recognized herself. The broken, bleeding girl from 6 months ago was gone. In her place stood a powerful warrior with confident eyes and a straight spine. Her hair, once dull brown, now shone with health and was styled in intricate braids. She wore leather armor that Lily had crafted, both beautiful and functional. And around her neck, instead of the simple chain she'd worn as Luna, she wore a silver pendant shaped like a crescent moon, the symbol of a moonborn. Cade came up behind her, wrapping his arms around her waist. "You look like the queen you were always meant to be," he murmured. "I'm scared," Arya admitted. "What if I'm not strong enough? What if I fail?" "You won't," Cade said firmly, "because you're not alone anymore. You have me, you have our pack, and you have yourself, the strongest wolf I've ever known." That night, as they prepared to leave, Old Tom approached Arya. "Luna," he said formally, "we've all been rogues, outcasts. But you've given us something we thought we'd lost, hope. Whatever happens tomorrow, know that we would follow you into hell itself." Tears filled Arya's eyes. "Thank you, Tom. All of you. You've given me something too. A real family." As dawn broke, Cade's army of rogues, 200 strong, set out for Silvercrest territory. They moved like shadows, using paths that avoided pack patrols. They would arrive during the Alpha Summit, when all the region's leaders would be gathered. During the journey, Arya felt her power growing, responding to her determination. The moon, though not full, seemed to shine its light on her. Her wolf, once small and weak, now felt like a force of nature. "Are you ready for this?" Cade asked as they neared Silvercrest borders. Arya looked at the territory that had once been her home, the place of her greatest joy and deepest pain. She thought about Derek's cruelty, Elena's betrayal, and the innocent wolves suffering under their rule. "Yes," she said. "I'm ready." It's time Derek and Elena learned that you can't destroy a Luna. You can only make her stronger. As they crossed into Silver Crest territory, Arya felt it, the pull of the land recognizing its true Luna. The trees seemed to bend toward her. The earth seemed to welcome her home. And somewhere in the pack house, she knew Derek and Elena had no idea that their judgment day had arrived. The broken Luna was coming home, and she was bringing an army. The final confrontation is here. Will Arya get justice? What will happen when Derek and Elena see her alive and powerful? And what role will the Alpha Summit play in the ultimate showdown? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Comment below. Do you think Arya should forgive Derek and Elena? Or should they face harsh consequences?